Michael Ian Black. Very famous, thank you. And I will be guest hosting all week today. Apple just won a $1 billion settlement against Samsung, and we'll explain the fallout and why it could spell doom for future tablets and smartphones. Tommy Davidson from the new animated series Black Dynamite will be here live. And now, let's see what Candace is up to. Hello.
You're here. You are so famous, and I'm just so excited to be in your presence. So thank you for being here all week.
I can tell how starstruck you are.
So, do you see just like...
Yeah. I'm glad I could class up the joint a little.
Thank you. You definitely are. Now, and around the net, we will show you a place to put your pizza besides your mouth. Different than what I'm talking about, how it sounds. Okay, anyways, plus we'll review the Samsung Galaxy Note 1. As long as I'm just so starstruck right now, I can't talk right.
It happens a lot, Candace. People freak out when they see me. You're doing
That's
fine.
What I'm doing.
You know, it's just another day at the office.
Okay,
just breathe.
Just another day. Just another day. Let me back that up. Plus, we'll review the Samsung Galaxy Note 1. As long as those thugs from Apple let us do it. Now, back to Michael.
Thank you, Candace. Well, I'd like to start today by talking about sports for a second, if I could. That is, of course, if you consider bicycling to be a sport. Turns out Turns out he's going to be on the lam because the guy's an outlaw. Turns out Lance Armstrong and I have a lot in common. We're both in fantastic shape. We both hang out with Matthew McConaughey. And as of this weekend, we both have the exact same amount of Tour de France titles. Lance Armstrong has decided to stop fighting the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency, or USADA, and in return, they have stripped the cycling icon of his record 7 Tour de France titles and slapped him with a lifetime ban from competition. I am also banned from competition, but for reasons I cannot legally say on camera. Here's another thing I have in common with Lance Armstrong. Neither of us have ever failed a drug test. I came close once, but I studied really hard the night before, and I ended up getting a D. So why is he being stripped of his professional accomplishments years later, regardless of his clean track record? Because the USADA maintains that Armstrong used banned substances, including steroids and blood transfusions dating back to 1996. Plus, 10 of his former teammates were ready to testify against him, which would have marked the first time in cycling history we had ever heard of anyone other than Lance Armstrong. But Lance giving up is just a tacit admission of guilt. And you know what else is an admission of doping? Being a professional cyclist. Every single one of them does it. You know they're all doing steroids. I mean, look at this guy. Look at his guns. Chock full of steroids. So are we really surprised that Lance Armstrong was cheating? Come on. This is the guy who cheated death 7 times. And I would be really disappointed if I find out he beat cancer using drugs, too. I will be devastated. But in the end, no one really seems to care either way. There's sort of a collective shrug across the country about Lance Armstrong, except from me. I'm very upset that all those Lance Armstrong wins that I ignored didn't really exist. Now on to the world of infotainment. Hollywood is taking a break from picking new Bourne nouns to reboot Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan series. Yeah, which you might remember as badass movies like The Hunt for Red October and Patriot Games. Well, Paramount is rebooting the series. They've got new plans, but they're pretty complicated. So I'm going to break it down, and that's why I have created the Michael Ian Black Guide to understanding the white dudes of the Jack Ryan franchise. Now stick with me, because this stuff gets pretty heady, you guys. Originally, Jack Ryan, your dad's favorite fictional CIA agent, was played by this dude, who they fired because he was kind of a dick. So then they hired this guy, who took over and was awesome, but then he turned 80. So they gave the part to this guy, who played the part until he caught a bad case of this. So now, the new Jack Ryan movie, imaginatively titled Jack Ryan, is going to star this guy. Yeah, nice guy, Captain Kirk, now Jack Ryan. Meanwhile, Paramount is also developing an adaptation of the Clancy novel Without Remorse as a spin-off in the hopes that this guy will star in it, even though that guy and this guy already both played spies in this movie, which nobody watched. So then in the new Jack Ryan movies, they're hoping to get this guy to appear in both of them as a mentor figure who, Paramount hopes, will then go on to star in his own movie, at this point probably directed by this guy, because now we have run out of white people. So basically what this is Hollywood trying to make everything into the Avengers in the hopes of making Avengers-level bucks at the box office. But is turning franchises into mega franchises really the Messiah idea that will save the crumbling business model that is the American film industry? I mean, at this point, soon every movie will have to connect to every other movie, regardless of intended genre, which could be a mess. Although I have to admit, I'm kind of looking forward to the Twiformers series, Breaking Smurf, and Katniss Everdeen, Vampire Hunter / President. Now, moving on to today's biggest news. Apple and Samsung have been dueling it out with patent lawsuits all around the world since last spring, and their case in American courts was just decided. Now, it's kind of complicated. There's a lot of patent law and technical jargon involved in this decision, so let me make it easy for you. I'm going to explain it. Now, imagine that this is Samsung, okay? And then Apple did this to Samsung with the iPhone over and over again, and then Samsung had to pay them $1 billion for it. Apple took Samsung to court, accusing them of kind of looking over their shoulders and stealing ideas from their precious iDevices, ranging from pinch and zoom functions to their sleek packaging, and even the rectangular shape with rounded edges. I don't know how you win that case. We patent a rectangle with rounded shapes. Fortunately, Apple didn't get that last one, which is good news, both for my microwave and the owners of future Samsung phones. Now, before you start deadbolting your doors, don't worry. Apple is not going to send turtleneck stormtroopers to your apartment to seize your Galaxy phones. But Samsung might have to update your software, changing the way phones look and work. However, the court found the Galaxy Tab did not infringe on the iPad. So rest easy, both of you Galaxy Tab owners. What does the Apple versus Samsung battle mean for you? John Bradley from Wired magazine will explain when we come back. For the week, Michael Ian Black. Now, before the break, we told you about the billion-dollar legal victory that Apple just scored over Samsung. Let's go more in depth on what this ruling means for you. Joining us from Wired, John Bradley. Welcome, John.
How you doing?
I'm great. Okay, so explain for us exactly what Samsung was found guilty of that has resulted in them owing Apple over $1 billion in damages.
Well, they might end up owing more. They were found guilty of blatantly copying Apple's design. I mean, the look and feel and function of mostly the iPhone, all these iOS products. And the jury actually said that it was willful, that Samsung took a calculated risk, and obviously those calculations didn't pay off. But because it was willful, the judge can actually go in and say that they actually owe more than the billion. So we'll find out on September 20th, but the damages could go up even higher.
How much could they possibly go to?
The judge can increase it. No, I think 300% higher, so $3 billion is a possibility.
Wow. Now, for Apple, that wouldn't even be a drop in the bucket. I imagine for Samsung, that's probably a lot of money.
No, it's actually not a whole lot of money for either one of them, which is just ridiculous. You got to keep in mind this is just U.S. for Samsung, which is I think 4% of their global market. So the damages are kind of a slap on the wrist, but what really matters is how this affects the design and development of future products.
So does that mean that there could be actually a ban on the sale of certain Samsung products?
Yeah, there were, I think, 28 products that were found to be infringing on Apple patents, and today Apple...
I didn't know Samsung made 28 products.
Well, it's funny, it's that whole craziness of the Android space, and so... today Apple filed notice that they want to ban 8 products for sale in the U.S., but like 6 of those are just variations on the Galaxy 2. So, and it's notable that these are mostly old products that either aren't really on sale anymore or you can hardly buy anymore. So the newest stuff is already okay. Galaxy 3 is fine.
Oh, so what's the problem? It seems like it's a slap on the wrist, and it doesn't affect any of their products. Who cares?
Well, there are some patents that, that's a really good point, and that's a lot of it. But there are still some patents having to do with functionality that are in effect. And this opens the door to Apple going to other hardware manufacturers and saying, okay, you need to license this stuff from us now. You can't just copy us anymore. Right.
So I'm assuming you're talking about maybe Google. Is Google going to be involved in this at some point?
I think they're going to have to at some point. They issued a very short statement today saying that this won't affect any of their core functionality, whatever that means. But this is
means
largely
core functionality. I don't know what.
But this is mainly a proxy war between Apple and Google. They haven't sued each other yet. But if you read the Steve Jobs biography, he said that he would spend every
page. I read every page.
So he said he'd spend every penny of Apple's money trying to destroy Android. Apple does not like Android. They say it's a blatant ripoff of iOS, and so they want to see that stop. What it means in the short term for Google is that a lot of Google's hardware partners are going to have to license technology from Apple or else change their hardware. Either way, that means higher prices and a little bit of a shakeup in the Android market.
What about Microsoft? Are they going to be affected by this?
They actually come out of it looking pretty good. First of all, they licensed some technologies from Apple back in 2010. This is the same licensing deal that Apple offered Samsung and Samsung passed on, which, if they'd accepted that, they could have avoided this whole mess. Samsung did license those. Also, Apple's lawyers held up Windows Phone in court as saying, look, here's an example of a fully functional mobile OS that has nothing to do with iOS. They're not copying us at all, so this is obviously possible. So Microsoft comes out as looking pretty good. Now they just need to sell more of their phones. So I guess
they're the winners here. Who's this good for and who is this bad for?
Well, obviously it's good for Apple. It asserts their position as sort of the leader in this place and everybody else is following. They get a little bit more control over things. It's bad for Google. They are associated with, a losing side here. It makes them look a little bit more like copycats. And then, of course, Samsung. This really affects them. Again, it's, 4% of their global market, but it's a pretty big stain on them. And it's going to affect, who knows what they've got in development now, but all hardware manufacturers, and especially Samsung, is going to really have to look at what they're developing and how they're differentiating themselves from Apple.
Well, thank you, John Bradley, very much for clearing up. A very complicated case, explaining it beautifully. John Bradley from Wired Magazine. Let's go over to Candace.
Thank you, Michael. Still ahead, a Larper has a very bad day. And an amazing infomercial will make you rethink your leftover pizza. Around the Net is after this. to talk LARPing. You know, live-action role-playing, or LARPing, requires 3 things. Do-it-yourself costuming, courage under fire, and balance.
I feel like that's the first time that guy has slept anywhere other than his mother's basement.
Yeah, maybe so. In honor of that, I get to wear this.
Wow, look at you.
I just wanted some props and a crown. But this is great.
I'm giving you mad props.
This is Hey! This is what LARPers actually use, this kind of stuff.
What, that? Not that actual thing. I mean, not you.
Well, not this one. Well, our prop department made this, but
Well,
it's pretty cool, right?
They did a really great job with this duct tape.
You can borrow it. I know. I'm thoroughly impressed by my outfit.
I mean, I knew this was a good show. I had no idea the budget that you guys had.
Well, now you know. Now you know, buddy. All right. I'm going to put these down, but I'm going to just keep these on.
You'll keep the crown on,
Yeah,
right?
keeping it on the whole time.
I hope so.
All right. Now this next video. I love Mentos. And Mentos commercials, especially Mentos. But today their addictive jingle meets something even more addictive, AMC's Breaking Bad. Here's television's favorite dealer dad, Walter White.
The Fresh Maker.
Yes!
Yay!
So good, Mentos commercials.
I feel like that's the only 20 seconds of people smiling on the entire run of Breaking Bad.
You're probably right, especially this season.
Oh, don't tell me about this season. I'm not
seen this
caught up.
season?
No, the wife and I were way behind.
Well, how far behind?
We're in season 3 right now, so we have a way to go to catch
Okay,
up.
but you're like halfway through.
Yeah, but don't tell me what happens.
This season is so good. And last night's episode was so good. I can't even stand it. You guys know.
Don't tell
Y'all
me.
know.
Don't tell me.
I'm not, no spoilers.
Was there meth involved?
Yes!
There was!
I know! What are you, psychic?
Shocker!
Want a Mento?
Oh, yeah. I don't know that I've had Mentos before. I am so high right now.
The fact that you have never had Mentos blows my mind.
I'm good.
Because these are the strawberry ones. These are my favorite. All strawberry. They also have like a fruity pack and a mint pack. Mint pack, not so much. The fruity pack is good when you get to the strawberry. But then it's like lemon and lime or orange or something like that. It's best if you just get the strawberry.
I am riveted. Keep talking.
I know. I tell good stories. Would you like another Mento?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, another thing I love, other than Mentos, infomercials. Everybody knows I love infomercials.
Everybody knows that. There's one thing we know, and it's those infomercials.
I love infomercials. But most aren't known for high-quality acting or for revolutionary products. However, this ad for a new storage device is terrible on both accounts.
Introducing Pizza Apartment. Tidy living quarters for your leftover slices. No longer do you need to rearrange an entire refrigerator or freezer shelf to fit a pizza box. Pizza Apartment holds all sizes of triangular pizza slices and can hold up to half of a pizza.
Its small size is so convenient for our dorm fridge.
And now we don't have to waste money on paper plates and foil. With the Pizza Apartment,
You can remove the slices and use the oven.
Wow, this is great. I can't wait to use it. I just knew Pizza Apartment would make an excellent gift.
It's so simple, even I can do it.
Kitchen Directions Group, maker of Pizza Apartment, are currently looking for quality sales reps to market this innovative product.
So easy, even I can do it. And I'm an idiot.
That's basically what she's saying.
Kind
or the
of.
birthday one.
Happy birthday.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Thank you.
Oh my God, you're such a bitch. You're a bitch. Who's going to get... I like how they got really dressed up for that birthday party. Just the two of them.
Just the two of them on a couch. Really weird and awkward.
Oh, they're going to scissor so much later.
Over the pizza department.
Oh, yeah.
What's so sad to me is that is like the worst infomercial ever, and no one in their right mind would buy that or need to buy that. Although I watch it and I kind of want to buy it. I know I would never use it, and it would just be in my counter, like under my counter, doing like hanging out.
You know what it is? It's the kind of thing you want to have in a pizza emergency. You know, every once in a while you get a 5-alarm pizza emergency, and you need your pizza apartments.
Yeah, you do. I mean, they're great.
They really are great.
All right. Well, that's all we have for Around the Net today. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. Now, let's pay our respects to the Sega Genesis in the console graveyard.
Yes, its spirit is restless. May it find the peace it needs.
In 1988, the NES was king. Atari was all but dead, while Sega's 8-bit Master System had made a decent but small dent in the video game market, prompting Sega to take another stab with their new console, the Genesis. Initially sold in Japan as the Mega Drive, the Genesis saw its stateside launch in 1989 and was one of the world's first 16-bit consoles to hit shelves.
I got the Sega Genesis for Christmas, and I remember opening the box first because it was light enough that I thought it was a sweater, and I was like, I'm gonna get this crap out of the way first. And turns out it was a Sega, and it was awesome.
On Sega Genesis, I think that may be my all-time favorite system.
It was priced at $190 and came boxed with a single 3-button controller, along with a copy of the side-scrolling fighter Altered Beast.
When we got Sega Genesis and Altered Beast was there, that was the first time where it was like, okay, this is a whole new world, and I didn't dare close my eyes.
The conceit, of course, is that you turn into a beast. It's sort of like the Incredible Hulk. But the jumping never really worked right. But you know what? You played it anyway. You know why? Because that was the only game you had.
Sega had hoped to cash in on the success of coin-op hits like Golden Axe and Shinobi, and modeled the Genesis hardware on the architecture of arcade units to bring titles into the living room.
Because the Genesis was closer to the arcade than the Nintendo, I think a lot of parents saw this as an opportunity for them to give their kids that experience in their home without having to drop them off at the mall, without having to pick them up, without having to, provide them with all this extra money.
But despite being cheaper than the competition, the Genesis saw meager sales during its first few years, large in part to the success of the NES and the recent release of Super Mario 3. But by 1991, the winds of change were on the horizon, specifically with the debut of the world's fastest blue rodent, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog was the best. It was a way for me, as a fat kid, to feel fast.
Now, unfortunately for Sega, this was the same year that Nintendo released the Super Nintendo, which quickly dominated sales. Faced with this stiff competition, Sega lowered the price of the Genesis and swapped out Altered Beast with Sonic as a pack-in game. The strategy worked, and by 1992, Sega controlled 60% of the console market.
Genesis sort of set itself apart from the SNES just in its design. I mean, it was black. It was badass.
Also, the look of the Genesis was also a little bit more mature. It was a little sleeker and looked a little classier.
This, of course, was aided by an aggressive advertising campaign, along with the release of hits like The Brutal Racer, Road Rash.
Road Rash was a game where you were essentially racing rival motorcycle gangs, and they don't just stop at racing. You would get things like crowbars and chains to beat the crap out of people and eventually knock them off of their motorcycle, thusly murdering them.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And their impressive line of sports games ranging from John Madden football and NBA Jam.
He's on fire!
To what many consider to be the greatest hockey game of all time, NHL 94.
NHL 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, and forward. The EA games were phenomenal.
But one of the most successful and infamous titles was the gore-rific fighter Mortal Kombat.
I would call out of school, like I'd pretend to be sick, and then I would just stay playing Mortal Kombat with the blood code on, ABACABB, in case you need it. Go for it.
Mortal Kombat had blood. Blood, real blood. And this actually was one of the things that led to the creation of the ESRB, that people thought that there needed to be a ratings agency in order to let people know what the content of these games were.
However, by 1994, the Genesis was starting to show its age and sales began to slip as the Super Nintendo reasserted itself as king of the market. Sega attempted to extend the life of the Genesis with add-ons like the 32X and the Sega CD, but due to their high price points, these peripherals failed to catch on. Games continued to be developed until 1998. However, by 1995, Sega shifted its focus onto their new console, the Saturn. Ultimately, the Genesis sold an estimated 40 million units, 10 million less than its competitor, the Super Nintendo.
I think the Sega Genesis should really be remembered personally for people, because personally it was a really wonderful time in my life. Also, it gave us Sonic the Hedgehog, who now is an old, washed-up abomination of a franchise, but really was something special. Go Sonic.
All the news you need to know. Read.
It's Monday, August 27th, and here are your top stories. Space has been making headlines all weekend, and here's the news. If you haven't heard yet, I am sorry to tell you, the first man on the moon, Neil Armstrong, has passed. Yeah, in the Ohioans honor, Cincinnati's Museum of Natural History and Science is offering free admission through Labor Day. So take a road trip, check it out, and pay your respects. Next, NASA is launching androids into orbit. Yeah, that's right. Engineers have built small satellites called phone sats that have smartphone brains. NASA says they've used the HTC Nexus 1 and Samsung's Nexus S at satellite cores to perform functions like two-way radio and GPS. And in odd news, will.i.am will debut his new single called Reach for the Stars tomorrow, but on Mars. Yeah, word is NASA will broadcast it on the planet's surface using Curiosity. Unfortunately, the song will reach Earth by beaming down from the rover to NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab in California. I say the next time we send any of the Black Eyed Peas to Mars, let's just keep them there. Yeah. Scientists from the University of Southern Mississippi have developed a new camouflage makeup for the military that protects against extreme heat. It works like a heavy-duty sunblock, forming a paper-thin coating that gives your skin 15 seconds worth of super protection, which buys a soldier time to find cover from any explosion or dash through a burning building. Scientists are now working on a clear version for firefighters and have also started looking into ways that can prevent fabrics from catching on fire. Take that, Maybelline. Yeah. And finally, the FCC is looking to tax broadband internet service. Now hold your judgments. This isn't some government plan to pocket more cash, okay? Word is tax dollars will go to bringing broadband access to parts of the U.S. that don't have it yet. And apparently a bunch of big-name companies like Google and AT&T support the idea. Now, on one hand, yes, it sucks for people who will have to pay more to use the internet, but on the other, it's good for those living in areas that currently have little to no access. Plus, if this passes, everyone can complain about resetting their crappy cable modems together. Yeah. I'm Sarah Underwood. You've just been fed. Stay tuned. Tommy Davidson from Black Dynamite will be here live right after this.
Our next guest looks as good in person. Look at those hands. Doing very good finger work right there. This guy does everything. He acts, he sings, he does finger work, and he looks as good in person as he does animated. It's Tommy Davidson, everybody.
Michael Jackson don't write no song for nobody. He wrote one for me.
Now, Cream Corn, how many times I told you not to interrupt my interrogations? We need to stay focused on breaking this ninja's will.
There's a delivery for Cream Corn.
Look what Michael Jackson sent for me. A pimpin' silk cape covered with the Japanese symbol for bravery. I've always wanted one of these. Thank you, Michael Jackson. Thank you, Michael Jackson.
There he is, Cream Corn, Tommy Davidson. How you doing?
Cream Corn.
doing good. I'm doing good. I'm very happy about this because I labored in the booth for like a year and a half, giving it all I had.
Did they let you out ever, or you were just in that booth?
No, I stayed there. I stayed there.
You lived there?
Yeah, I had a pizza apartment. He's been watching the show.
Now, Black Dynamite, the animated series, is based on Black Dynamite, the movie, which came out a couple years ago.
Came out a couple of years ago, and everybody saw it. Yeah. So that's, you know, everybody in this room saw it. Yeah.
Well, I feel like everybody in the whole world has seen Black Dynamite at this point.
At this point, yeah, 2 years DVD, because DVDs go fast. You know, I saw a movie that I had a small part in. It wasn't even out yet, and I saw it on DVD in Japan.
That's not a good sign.
Yeah. So it's no, it's not a good sign.
But this has really been like a passion project for you and Michael Jai White, who created it.
Yeah.
And it's got to feel good. Like now it's on Adult Swim and it's doing really well. People love it.
Yeah, we're happy about it. Passion project just means you don't get a lot of money for it. But
like this show right for me.
Passion project. You dig what I'm saying? No, we were fired up about it. We did it during the Christmas holiday. All of us known each other for years. Now, me and Michael are from New York City. I'm from New York City and Washington, D.C., and Wyoming and Colorado, but the New York City
So you're not
part.
from anywhere is what you're saying.
I'm from anywhere. Yeah, I'm a platypus at this point. So I spent a lot of time on 42nd Street when it used to look like Taxi Driver, when it used to be, you know, prostitutes and pimps, and it was like drug pushers and movie theaters. And we go down there and we see like 3 blaxploitation movies in a row. They weren't called blaxploitation movies then, they were called movies. You know, but it was like the event. The brothers in there smoking weed, and popcorn is being thrown all over the place. You got comments happening constantly. It was like a party. 3 movies for like $2.
Right, that's a great
deal. So being there and seeing that and being a part of that and then doing a movie that was spoofing that was like piece of cake.
Right.
Yeah, it was nothing.
And your character, Cream Corn, he's like a bragger and he's a schemer.
Yeah, he's
Did that come
kind of
naturally
like
for you? You know people like that?
Yeah. He's kind of like a C-level pimp. Like he doesn't really have any hoes. He got like a chihuahua or something, you know. But he's smooth. You know, he's the one with the long hair. You know, and what Cream Corn is he's a combination of the stereotypical, you know, informant on the old 70s detective TV shows. Starsky and Hutch had the Rooster, you know, and Beretta had Huggy Bear. No, Starsky and Hutch had Huggy Bear.
I was going to say, I thought Starsky, that was
I got him wrong. But so I took Rooster and I took Huggy Bear and I kind of combined them with an elf or something. So so you know, he kind of, you know, talks like, he looks like Huggy Bear, but he, you know, kind of sounds like an elf. You know what I'm saying?
That's good. I like Cream Corn.
I work on that. I work on that.
You got your start doing like impressions, and Living Color you did impressions, and all your old comedy you did impressions. You still doing impressions?
Well, one of my favorites now is Obama. And it's a very simple impression, and not to confuse any camera angles, but I like to stand. Because what he do, and I'm rising slowly.
Oh, that's a perfect Obama.
Yeah, because the thing, you like that? The thing I love about him is he can take something that's like not important and make it sound like presidentially important.
Like, for instance, Frosted Flakes. Now, Kellogg's Frosted Flakes are not only a part of an essential breakfast, but they're good for you. And here you have Tony the Tiger. Now, if you consider Tony the Tiger, he's athletic, he plays with children, which is a good thing. And he's got a very swanky bandana, which is kind of fashionable. So you have it's part of an essential breakfast. Tony is very athletic, and to boot, they're great.
That's good. That's a really good Obama. Yeah. That's solid.
I got everything Obama has, but he doesn't have everything I have. Yeah, I'll rise for the camera one more time. And
wow, look at that.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing some stripping in a new club called Chickendales.
That's good. Chickendales. I was on delay on that one. It took me about 30 seconds, and then I got it. But yeah, you're still doing comedy. You're out there all the time.
Yeah, I'm out there. I am comedy. I'm an apostle of comedy. Is that good?
I mean, it doesn't make sense, but sure, it's good.
They're like, sure, we're going home soon. We're about to wrap this thing. Yeah, I want to go to Starbucks and I'm going to go home. Yeah, I go all around the country and all around the world. I'm what I call Sunday's child. I'm telling you, I'm so lucky. Like, I walk into a movie theater in, let's say, Dayton, Ohio. A guy sees me and he goes, man, you're the best. I love you. Here's a 1-year coupon to ArcLight Theaters for a whole year anywhere you want to go.
Wow.
So people treat me really, really good. And I'm, you know, and I'm like Sunday's child. And I was able to go to Afghanistan and perform for the servicemen and women there. And what comedy has done for me, boy.
That's great.
It's good stuff.
You know what? I feel like I don't give you enough. I'm going to give you some money right after the show. Just because you deserve it, Tommy.
Yeah, but I signed a piece of paper that said I wouldn't get any.
Obviously, I was kidding. You're not getting a dime. Black Dynamite,
Yeah, right.
Adult Swim. It's on what? What night is it on?
It's on Sunday, 11:30.
And I've seen it. It's a great show. Tommy Davidson, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. The crown! The crown, Candace!
I don't have it on anymore. I was going to give it to you. You're funny.
Okay, all right.
I like you. When we come back, Matt Myra gives us the skinny on what could be the last ever rectangular Samsung tablet. Stick around.
Tomorrow on Attack of the Show.
NBA star Dante Jones and players-to-fans CMO Ali Abdullah drop by to talk about their new social media adventure that brings pros and Joes together. Then on DVD Tuesday, Chris Gore breaks down the week's latest releases, including Battleship and Season 2 of The Walking Dead. And start working on your end zone dance. We are going deep with Madden NFL 13.
All right, we're going to review a Samsung tablet now. Please don't sue us, Apple.
Take your notes, homework, and projects to a whole new level with the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1. This 10-inch Android tablet is powered by a quad-core processor and 2 gigs of RAM. It also comes with Samsung's S Pen stylus and features multi-screen software. This new tablet can be yours for $500.
Look, everybody, it's Matt Myra!
Take a look at this. It's the Samsung Galaxy 10.1, which we can still legally sell in America, I think. Now, this is not affected by the Samsung ruling, so don't worry, go buy it. Or not. Wait for the review. I'll tell you what to do. Basically, it's a Galaxy Tab, but it's stylus-enabled. I was a big fan of the Galaxy Tab 7.7. I really like that design. This doesn't look anything like that. So, I'm going to say it's a pretty good design. It's not great. I like the metal that the 7.7 was built with. This is plastic on the back, which feels a little cheap, but it's also pretty light, so it's a nice move, I suppose. There's a micro SD card on top, slot on top there, and of course, to set this apart, we have the stylus S Pen.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I was really excited.
What is a micro SD card, Max?
Well,
you say that like everybody should know what that is. I don't know what that is.
It's a tiny way of storing more information, Michael.
Oh, I like information.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the stylus pen there thing.
Yeah, this right here.
Before we get to that, though, I
Yeah.
want to know about the screen, because that's what I'm looking at when I look at tablets. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
the
it good?
screen's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not going to blow you out of the water. It's 1280 by 800 resolution, which sounds like good numbers, but I expected a little bit more from a tablet of this size, especially one that is stylus-based. Also, you have the other Android tablets in this price point usually have 1080p screens, which this does not have. So,
What?
I was like, yeah, exactly.
What?
But I will say, text looks pretty crisp. You're very angry, Michael.
I was feigning outrage the best that I'm on a geek show. I figured I had to do something. This is an outrage!
Yes, right? Seriously.
I want more pee!
Just wait. The Galaxy Note phone had a Super AMOLED screen, and I expected this one to have
It had a what? Say again?
Super AMOLED.
What does that mean?
It's a LED screen.
Why don't you say
We'll
LED
get into that
screen?
later. But it's super.
Oh, it's super.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
That's all I needed to know. Tell me about the stylus.
Right
Yeah.
here. Here it is. I'm not a huge fan of styluses, but let me say, they pulled this off pretty well. You have iPad styluses, and of course you have this one. This is different from an iPad stylus because it's got a button, and it does more than just pretend it's a finger, right? Which is what a stylus does. So the device you're looking at, it's sort of, they have these stylus-enabled apps on here. The S Pen is designed specifically for the system. So when you tap the screen, it knows that you hit it, and it's going to launch something that you can do with the S Pen, like notes. So you can write all sorts of notes, because I guess typing's too hard. And then there's good sensitivity. It's not great sensitivity, so that happy face really took a little while. It does handwriting recognition, which actually works pretty well. I'm just not a stylus guy, and I feel like it's sort of handicapped going with that. The thing that I like the most about this is they have this thing where you can launch 2 apps at the same time.
Right, that's helpful.
It is helpful, except that it slows both apps down. Right? I'm a little annoyed by that on a personal level. And I don't want to get into it with Samsung, but come on, do a little better.
Wow, you are not holding back at all.
No.
This guy's not holding punches.
Sorry.
So this is for what? People like to do stuff. Does it get stuff done quick? What is it?
It gets some stuff done. It's got a lot of fast hardware in it. It's quad-core processor, 2 gigs of RAM. It's also running Ice Cream Sandwich 4.0.4. But a lot of that stuff is a TouchWiz that's enabled on this. TouchWiz is sort of Samsung's overlay, and it sort of lags everything down. It sort of hogs it. Bless you, Candace. So it's hogging a lot of the hardware, and it's not as fast as it should be. Hopefully, you're going to get an update soon to Jelly Bean. There's sort of this Android lag, where your finger is doing things and the screen's not quite responding. And that's something that they got away with not having on the Nexus 7, but that was running Jelly Bean. That was running a newer operating system than this is.
Got it.
And that, this is newer than that. So,
all right, so how much is the Samsung Galaxy
Note? Well, this is $499.
And what's the verdict? What do you think, Matt Myra?
Here's what we're going to give it. 3 out of 5.
All right.
It's good. It's good. It's good. I think the S Pen works pretty well, even though it's not for me. There's a lot of promise for a tablet like this. This is Samsung's first swing at a device like this that has a big screen and an S Pen. But for now, it's a good tablet with a stylus. But don't worry, if you're worried about the Apple-Samsung thing, this will not be affected by that. If you want something with a stylus, it's good.
All right, it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the verdict. It's good, not great. Thank you very much.
It's good.
Matt Myra.
Thank you, Michael.
Good. Well, that's it for today's Gadgetron. Say that again? Right.
Yeah, me too.
They're talking to me, and I don't know what the hell they're talking about.
They're saying that we're doing epic fail real quick, so you have to read it fast.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Now we're killing the fail, y'all. We're killing the fail.
You gotta show the thing. Show the thing.
You never know.
Oh, it's a guy, he falls. Thanks to John Bradley, Tommy Davidson, Matt Myra, Sarah Underwood.
And to you. You're going to be here all week.
I will be.
Very excited about it.
Thank you, Candace.
You're a pleasure.
You're a pleasure.
Would you like another Mentos?
Let's have a fresh break.
Okay. One for you and one for me.
These are actually good. They hurt your teeth, but they're good.
Good night, everybody.
See you tomorrow.